What is going on, my peeps? Your boy Versatile is back after hours, back with episode 20 of Versatile After Hours. Yes, this is the visual podcast. You can catch this here on this channel. So if you haven't already, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, ignite the like button on this video, and make sure you guys hit that notification bell so that we guys stay informed when I drop videos. And if you can't catch the visuals, you can catch the audio podcast, Versatile After Hours, on your favorite podcast platform. Very, very most likely. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Before we actually jump into the main topics, as I said in my last video, the PS5 event reaction video, we got 3 left. We got 3 cases left. As I said, DM me on Instagram or Twitter. My names, how they're spelled, is in the description box below, and I'll pin a comment as well with my spelling of my Instagram and my Twitter, so that way you guys can DM me and then let me know what you know, and I can get you guys with a great deal. So that's announcement number 1. Announcement number 2 is I have a website now, and I will go a little bit more depth into it in a separate video, but I have a website. It's www.versatilephotography.com. Yes, that's the domain name for it, but of course I offer my YouTube services on there as well. Now, I don't have any of my YouTube videos embedded on the website since it is slightly more photography based, but I'm using it as a site that I can use for photography, of course, which means you guys might see some more photography related or camera gear related content on this channel. But then I just want a website that I can call my own, that I can use as like a hub for people to kind of interact with and get at me with. So I put my new email address down in the description box below for business inquiries as well. But yes, I offer YouTube services on there as part of like my creative services. I offer that, so if a site wants to try to hook up, I can use that website along with my YouTube channel as 2 ways that companies can reach out to me, and vice versa, to link up for product reviews and stuff like that. So that's just the YouTube side, and then of course the primary other side is the photography side, because that's something that I'm doing full time now that I don't have a job. And again, I'll get into more on that on another video. But let's get into the meat and potatoes, the potatoes of this podcast, and that is more about the PS5. And I didn't get to go, I wanted to just run through the games in that video and just my quick thoughts after watching the event. Here I'm going to go a little bit more in depth into what I hope or wish list items, predictions and whatnot in terms of the PS5, in terms of what it looks like and its games that I wanted to highlight, which is really just 2. But before we get into the games, let's talk about the PS5 itself. And a lot of people are saying alien technology, Alienware, the whole 9. And yes, I felt the same way. It looks so cool. It looks like it came from Planet Namek on Dragon Ball Z. Shout out to Piccolo. I like the box. I like what it looks like. I like that there's more lighting from it that may be more legit as you play it. Maybe the blue light will be more consistent as opposed to it going from blue to white, which would be a great thing as well. I know somebody asked, like the Kind of Funny crew, if the lights would change colors throughout your gameplay. That would be interesting if it was slight here and there. Now, I guess it could rapidly change as it would on your controller, such as when your health bar is low or any activity within specific games. So that would be kind of like a cool, neat little feature, because we don't look at the game controller itself when we play. And no doubt, once you're really good with your hand-eye coordination for playing games, you're not looking at the controller at all, really, unless you get frustrated and mad and want to throw it. So one way to be able to catch those glimpses of light changes is with the system itself. Now, again, that's also based on where you put your system and whatnot, and hopefully you have it in more of an open area for ventilation and cooling and whatnot. But that would be cool. I'm not going to be mad at that. I'm not mad at that prediction. I know I've seen a supposed glimpse of the box sitting horizontally, because as we know, like 100% of the systems can sit horizontally. Most can kind of come with a stand and can stand straight up, but and they're always presented standing up, through advertisements, marketing, promotions and stuff like that. But most people lay them flat. So it's nice to see that this again has a stand that it can sit up, and it does look cool sitting up. It looks like it's almost peeling back and like opening itself up to you, or it's almost as if you can pull it out of a sleeve. the way the design is if you was to lay it horizontally. So I wonder if it's going to have a stand for that as well, especially given the optical disc version, because it looks as though if it is laid horizontally, it looks like the disc version is where what it's sitting on. It's not on top. I thought it would have been on top, but then because it had that nice big like metallic looking PlayStation logo on one of its sides, I can see that side being right side up. So is it going to be wonky laying down? That's going to be the next question, but I definitely hope I can find a way to stand it up when we get it. As I said in the video, I hope that they launch a bundle where you can get a lot of those accessories included in the purchase. And, you know, maybe you pay an extra $100 or something like that, but I would greatly like that if that was a bundle where you get the box, you get, you know, your one controller, you get the charge station, you get the HD camera, and maybe the headset. Maybe the headset's like $150 extra. But either way, if you could get all that bundled in with the pre-order, that would be so cool, because best believe I'm pre-ordering anyway, but that's what I do. Or even with the digital edition, you could do the same thing. And with the digital edition, I can understand why they're launching a digital one now, because a lot of people, that's why GameStop's suffering, a lot of people buy games digitally. They don't even they don't really buy physical anymore. And if they do buy the physical, they buy it out of like sentimentality, or, you know, as an antiquity to them, because they find gaming, the future of it anyway, being in the form of digital play. So I can see a digital version. I could see me getting the digital version. I could definitely see, you know, us having a digital version in the living room or in another room that can be accessed, and then the main or living room will have the optical disc version. So there's definitely some forethought going into that in the future, depending on how much this costs, of course. But I know I'm getting at least one, and that will be the hardware or the hard disc edition, optical disc edition, physical disc edition, whatever you want to call it, the traditional box, because I do like buying physical copies still. So of course, if I can get games free digitally or really cheap, of course I'll buy them digitally. But I like buying hardware because I play sport games, and unless they change the philosophy around sport games where they're just software updates and we get the rosters and all that new stuff, that's why I buy physical still, because I like to just trade in the old one and buy the new one. But I hope that at some point NBA and Madden just become Madden NFL or NBA 2K, and then like your loading screen, you know, when you're playing the game, highlights the new year or something like that, you know, because I think sport games need to take a big leap forward in that way and stop releasing physical discs, because the updates themselves, I just don't see being large enough that they need a whole new disc for. As we see like patches and software updates for like a Red Dead or maybe even a Death Stranding or maybe even a Call of Duty, those updates can be in excess of like 80 gigs. So the fact that we can still download big patches like that shows you that we don't need a hard disk anymore for software updates to just update the game itself. So that's something I can see. Or even if they just go like biannual year, or every 3, 4, 5 years we get a new disc or something like that. We just don't need discs anymore in the sports arena of games. But that aside, the box itself, I'm really hoping is going to be nice. Now, here's the one thing I think is going to, it looks like it's going to be relatively big. I mean, the PS4 itself and the PS4 Pro, mind you, is relatively big. It's not like really heavy, but this PS5 looks like it's going to have some heft to it. And it looks like it's a little wider than the PS4 Pro. So that's something to keep in mind as well. I mean, the new kind of entertainment system, if you guys saw my Home Tech Tour 2.0, you'll see like there's not a lot of room for me to sit it up top, and I'm trying to find a way to do that. One way or option my wife was thinking just to fit stuff, period, is to just buy like a whole nother like little shelf that we could put next to the TV stand or entertainment center. And then that way I can actually put the PS5 on that in my router and there and all that type of stuff and declutter at the top of the TV stand. But the way we have our Netgear Darth Vader, you know, ship router in there behind the TV, it looks fine. It still looks minimal. The only other thing I could think of is we put the PS5 on the other side of the TV, and then of course it's pointing out towards the hallway in terms to be able to access the disc and stuff like that. That's the only other thing I could think of, but I don't know if I like that. But that would help if I wanted to do gameplay. So if I wanted to do gameplay it'd be at least easier to get a thumb drive or stick or whatever in and out easily. And if it does work via USB-C, that's even better. So again, that's some hopes too, that USB-C can be used as a storage drive. So you can, whether it's, which I might think that's how they would do it, but with SSDs that they probably will sell, their own proprietary SSDs will be USB-C capable, and hopefully there's one in the back along with the front. But with the front especially, those ports are capable of being able to stick thumb drives in, or even a phone and tablet, extract the data that we want off of it and go on our merry way, because that's the problem I have with the PS4 Pro. I can't do that with the front USB-C slots. Like, I can charge a controller, and then when I'm in, save mode and I want to rebuild database and stuff like that, you can use the front for that. But whenever I try to stick a thumbnail drive in the front, it just doesn't work. So that's something I'm cautious of, because if it was that easy with the PS4, then I probably would have included a lot more gameplay, especially if I decide to like kind of do some mini game reviews from time to time, especially games that mean a lot to me, like Spider-Man. I was able to drop that a long ago, but I don't know what happened with it uploading from the PlayStation, or me stripping it and I don't know if I stripped it, but I tried to upload it from the PlayStation to my YouTube channel, and like that video went nowhere. So hopefully just better ease of use in terms of social media and being able to extract data from the front, the ease of use from the front side of the box, and not having to climb to the back, because that's why it's hard for my PS4 Pro now, is because I have it laid down, but it's now also housed in, and even if it wasn't, it's still sticking to the back of our entertainment center. So I have to try to reach around and contort to try to get back there, try to finagle the drive into the slot, and that's just not fun. So please, Sony, those little small ease of use, quality of life, tunes that we could use, I would appreciate that for the PS5. Now, moving on from the PS5 itself into the PS5 games, there's really only two, and the first one I'm talking about is, of course, as I said, Miles Morales, the Spider-Man expansion game. And as I thought, it is not a sequel. And as I further thought, it's not necessarily DLC either, or downloadable content for those who are new to the slang. It's its own standalone game, like Uncharted Lost Legacy, which sounds so fitting for this game, because if it is larger like that, the way the trailer plays out, it definitely feels like it may not be Spider-Man PS4 long, but I'm sure it's going to be about 70 to 80% as long, because the story wasn't that long for Spider-Man either. It still was about 20 hours, but it's with the culmination of doing things. The story itself is probably about 10 to 15. So honestly, this game sounds like it's being heavily rumored to be about the same 10 to 15. But now we're just getting it in the mindset of Miles. And even if the story is more like on the 10 side, like maybe even 7 to 11 hours worth of gameplay, that's still solid story. And then with the other gameplays, features that we're able to take advantage of. And then, of course, quality of life, QA factors in there for, just the game itself for Spider-Man. Like, that makes so much sense. And in terms of story, spoiler alert if you haven't played Spider-Man yet, Spider-Man, although it did set up Miles Morales to become another Spider-Man in this Spider-Verse, the story is going much more in the direction of Norman Osborn, Harry Osborn, now that Doc Ock is out and the Sinister Six is somewhat discombobulated. So this Miles Morales game, especially seeing the trailer, gave no weight to Peter Parker or what was in Peter Parker's storyline. So no doubt Peter Parker will probably be in the game. I don't think that there's going to be a lot of Peter Parker related storylines. Like, he'll probably help Miles out. Maybe some things will happen that will further set up the sequel, Spider-Man 2. But this is largely going to focus on Miles Morales learning how to be Spider-Man, probably. Much like the Spider-Verse movie that I will be watching here soon. And I will be playing Spider-Man soon. Just to get back into the flow of things. Because the game's it's relatively easy. Some of the combos you gotta have to go back and remember. But they're not hard to kind of get back into. But man, that game is amazing. But yeah, Miles Morales looks very much so fun to play. More elusive, acrobatic, stylistic. Just swagged out with his swinging and just free, being Spider-Man. So that's gonna be interesting. And then somebody said he got a haircut. He got a sharper fade a little bit. So much like your boy with the new haircut. You know what I'm saying? So that's cool to see. Definitely looking forward to Spider-Man. So Spider-Man Morales is like Uncharted Lost Legacy, where it's a part of the Uncharted world. It still has some references. It still has references to the Uncharted world, but it doesn't necessarily, count as Uncharted 5. It's more of like a side story, and I think this is exactly what this is for Miles Morales. Uncharted Lost Legacy, again, spoiler alert if you haven't played it, Sam Drake is in it, or Nathan's brother, who they ultimately kind of split ways at the end of Uncharted 4, even though they left on a good note and everything. But Sam Drake helps out Chloe and Nadine, who, we last saw Nadine in Uncharted 4, and it did continue her storyline from the perspective of what happened in Uncharted 4, her being ousted of her own business, being two-timed. But then Chloe, I don't remember seeing in Uncharted 3. Oh, did we? I don't think we did. No, we didn't. We did not see her in Uncharted. Oh, wait, maybe we did see her in Uncharted 3. If it was brief, but it was Uncharted 2 for sure the last time we saw Chloe. And I guess Chloe did like Nathan, but, he chose Elena over Chloe, and they got a little girl now. So definitely dope to see from that perspective. Insomniac continuing Spider-Man without closing the story, and then on top of that, not rushing a 2 out. The sequel, the true sequel. The true sequel is probably not coming out until 2022. I'm gonna go 2022, depending on when the next game we're gonna talk about comes out. Horizon 2 Forbidden West, because again, we didn't get a launch window for that. So that looks to be, maybe it's a sneaky holiday 2020 since it's been 3 years, but that's probably 2021. And although it'd be super cool to play both of those games in the same year, I think, especially for how long Horizon 2 is going to be, I think that needs its own year to just be celebrated. And then Spider-Man 2 follows up 2022 to be celebrated. So, and then I don't think that'll be the end of Spider-Man 2 either. But nonetheless, much to look forward to with Spider-Man. Horizon, again, as I kind of mentioned in the reaction video, Horizon left off with Silence taking the what I call virus, right? That's affecting all the machines, and he went to go explore it some more, try to find his origin, try to find what is causing this. And Aloy, for the most part, helped beat it initially. And now it looks like there's a time skip here. So I don't know how big the time skip is per se. I mean, the trailer looked like she found some wildlife still. So there's some hope that there is a new beginning that she's going to help usher in. But she still has a lot to fight and battle. And now we getting like more, they almost look like prehistoric animals. Of course, we got prehistoric in the first one. A Thunderjaw was a doggone like T-Rex with no arms. But what I mean by prehistoric is like the mammoths, which I guess you could argue was here after the dinosaurs. I don't know. I don't believe the dinosaurs actually really existed, to tell you the truth. But nonetheless, she looks like she's fighting a droided out or a machined out mammoth at the very end of the trailer. And then like a new clan or a cultist group of people that she's got to fight through. My wife is just as psyched as I am to play that. I am ready to play Horizon 2 Forbidden West. And it makes me think that there really will be a third game, because for this to be called the Forbidden West, I can see the third game being called like the Devastated East, or the East of Old, or something in reference to the East. That'll be cool. That would be super cool. Or the third one might be called One Horizon, or One Dawn, or something like that. So that'd be cool. Or One Sunset or something like that. So that'd be cool. But I know there was a rumor that there's gonna be at least 3 Horizon games, like a trilogy for it. And for as big as this sequel looks to be expanded, like it looks like it's a bigger world, because now you can go underwater and stuff like that. it's going to be interesting to see how they tie everything up if there is indeed a third Horizon game. So again, I got to go back through to play it. I'm probably going to play it on easy because I already beat it on normal. I'm just going to go back through, play it, try to understand the story again. I'm going to go through on New Game Plus since I already beat it, so I can keep the majority of my gear. That will help me kind of get back into playing, and then just run through the story and understand how to play the story again, because that's what I want, to be able to understand the story again, so that way I'm ready to play the game. That's what I did with The Last of Us, which segues me into the PS4 news with The Last of Us Part 2 dropping a week away from today, which is Friday of the recording. I played Last of Us to understand the story of Joel and Ellie and the world of The Last of Us again, to be readily equipped to run through The Last of Us Part 2. I'm very tempted to do gameplay for it, but I think I'm just going to run through it, take my time with it, enjoy it, and then maybe run through it again and take advantage of some of the accessibility features, because one thing I heard Greg mention in their video talking about the review roundups for Last of Us Part 2, which sound very exciting, good, promising, all that jazz, is the accessibility features kind of can help you find the collectibles. So it's like once you go through once trying to play the game, understand the story, understand the game mechanics, and how you can use Ellie to your advantage, or more or less you being Ellie, how you can use the new weapons mechanics and things at your disposal to deal with all the chaos that's taking place, whether it's I can't even think of the names right now because it's a new one and I'm getting the name twisted in my mind. It's like the Celephist or something, but they sound scary. Like they're like a cultist group. And then of course you got like, I don't think they're Fireflies, but they are another group that, caused Ellie some pain, of course. And then of course you got the Clickers, the Walkers, and then some new version of the Bloater or something. I forgot the name. Neil Druckmann mentioned it, but nonetheless, excited for The Last of Us Part 2. I hopefully it will actually show up on Friday because I got the collector's edition, and if it does, I'll try to wait to unbox it, show it to you guys before I actually ultimately jump in the game, because I'm looking to jump into the game, if not Friday night, Saturday for sure. I know with Spider-Man it took me about a day or two before I actually put it in and play because I was doing so much, but I'm ready to play Last of Us. Like, I've cleared out a lot of games that I wanted to play so far recently. There's only so many games I really want to try to platinum. I have 7 platinums so far under my belt. Thank you very much. Excuse me. There's only so many games I actually truly want to platinum, and it's usually when I look at the trophies, I'm like, these are attainable or obtainable, and then I look at ones that are like, this is just utterly ridiculous. Horizon 1, I'm like 84 or 90% of the way there, and there's like a few things that I'm just not doing, or I just found really difficult to do. And then Spider-Man and Fallen Order and whatnot, platinum some other games like The Legend of Korra, like the Avatar game, and some have been slightly difficult. God of War, I platinum. So Last of Us Part 2, I heard the trophy list was way better than the first Last of Us, because I didn't even get close to that. I think I was like at 15 to 20%, because sometimes I just play the game for the story. Ultimately, I just want to play for the story. In this game, I feel like they sound like they're obtainable, they're achievable, and so I'm gonna try to do it. Whether or not it's on my first play or second play, I'm definitely gonna try to go through and platinum that game, because I'm definitely interested in that. And then the last bit of PS4 news is the new Star Wars codename Maverick. Sounds like it has been now revealed that game is Star Wars Squadrons, which will be showcased on Monday, June 15th. So this game sounds like it's about like starship fighting, like air combat, not lightsabers so much or blasters even. It's like X-Wings, A-Wings, TIE fighters, TIE bombers, TIE Reapers and stuff like that. Like this game, A-Wings, I'm trying to name as many as I can think of right now. Maybe the Falcon pops up, you never know. But this game sounds like it's a little shorter, because the people who's making it is Motive, or EA Motive or whatever, who made the campaign for Battlefront 2. And the campaign not only looked good, but it was overall a pretty solid experience. Like, the one drawback to the story, to the campaign of Battlefront 2 was the main chick, which I can't think of her name right now, her character development or progression, or her flip from bad to good, it went by too fast. Like it didn't feel developed enough. But sometimes you get hit with an epiphany, but it just felt so just quick with her mindset. But outside of that, story was cool, especially for a game that's primarily for online use. So with this game, I think it's another primarily for online use. So it's almost kind of like a Battlefront 2B, a Battlefront 2 being Battlefront 2A. This is the B side, or more specific, more of the Starship Assault side, or whatever that mode is called. Just straight air combat. And so I'm looking forward to that. That sounds fun. I'm definitely looking forward to see what that is. And when that comes out, most likely it's another upgradable or forwards compatible game for PS5 when the PS5 indeed drops. And my tech news, the Tab S7 leaks have now started drawing attention. Again, heavily rumored to have an 11 and 12.4 inch to finally actually compete against the iPad Pro sizes, which thank you. The 10.5 inch, albeit cool. If you want to use it as a workflow, although it's achievable, you want the 12.4 inch. And I like, why not just go 12.9, Samsung? Like, come on. And again, suggestions have been made, or rumors again have been made, that 120 hertz, which is going to be good, and then a better, of course, it's going to probably be a relatively more spaced out or spacious keyboard. Is going to feel, good, just like the Tab S6 keyboard for the most part feels good. And with having a bigger screen comes a better case. Hopefully the design, again, they'll keep in mind the just havoc that they caused last year with the Tab S6 keyboard. And then speaking of, to end this, the keyboard that I've been using, the case cover and the keyboard have been tremendously great so far. I'm gonna have another update in about another week or so. Let's call it the 4 week or the one month later, and then after that I'll probably do 3 months, 6 months, and then if I still have the Tab S6, a year, just to let you guys know how solid or not solid the keyboard has been. And if anything abrupt out of the blue happens, I'll let you guys know. So that ends this episode of Versatile After Hours. Again, this is the visual. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, ignite that like button, and hit that notification bell so that way you guys stay informed when I drop videos. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the audio version on your favorite podcast platform. But let me know down in the comments below all your thoughts about the PS5, games, the whole jazz. Let me know what you guys are excited for. And also, again, don't forget to reach out to me about the Galaxy Tab S6 keyboards. I got 3 left as of this video. But your boy Versatile signing out. And until the next video, we're officially closed.